Hey, what's going on, everybody? David Noy with Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners. We are back at it the day after the Super Bowl. A lot of people are probably a little tired today, took day off of work, so maybe they're joining us live to watch Speakeasy HR with an awesome guest that I've got on, and we're going to dive into this. I have Darryl Erby on for Speakeasy HR, episode 62. What is going on, Darryl? How are you today?
I'm doing good, David. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. The sun's out. It's going to be like 50 degrees tomorrow. I'm pretty excited. We have a foot of
Oh,
snow and it's just hanging around.
oh
So
man, that's weak here in Texas. I think we're gonna hit in the 80s today. This I know at least once or twice this week. We'll see.
that is awesome. Well, I am so excited to have you on. And we were, talking beforehand and just people we know in podcasting and the things that we're involved in. So it's great when I talk to somebody and I say, "Hey, I've got Darryl coming on later today." So shout out to Craig Fisher. He was one of my early morning virtual meetings today, and he's like, "Oh, I know Darryl." So hopefully he is going to join us live or be able to tune in to the recording. So Darryl, for those of you who don't know you much, tell us about your background and what you've been up to, and kind
Yeah.
of where you've gone in your journey.
Um. Where to start? I guess professionally. Just keeping it on AI here. Um. I've been in sales from a software perspective for about a decade now, and really funny. I've had a lot of different sales jobs. My first sales job, actually, out of college, I was a landman, and I used to. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually answered an ad, and it was for a landman for the area where I grew up, and
Okay.
and I speak Spanish as well. And I lived in Argentina as a foreign exchange student, and so I had gone to college, and as soon I was fortunate, I'm one of the millennials. I got a job out of college, right? And
Yeah. Woo.
yeah, right. Pat on the back for me. But with that said, so I worked odd jobs, and I got a job in selling cars as soon as my wife and I bought a home as well. And I this is the moment where I realized I wanted to go towards software sales, right?
Okay.
And a young lady came in, and I sold Fiats, right? Those small little funny cars. But hey, I was good at it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and she wanted a top-down cabriolet 500C, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, where do you work? And you only work 5 days a week, and you make this much money? And so it all clicked for me. I'm like, I'm doing software sales. So ever since then, I have been strictly focused on that. I got my MBA with the concentration in data analytics. I've got the drive and the focus there as well. So I've got that really hard grit from working in sales from different environments and more. And then on top of that, I like technology. I'm a nerd, you know. I so that's kind of my background a little bit, but I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. We can
Yeah.
dig in.
Absolutely. So when you were growing up, being through grade school, let's say when you were in
Hmm.
seventh grade, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Actually, a paleontologist.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I really enjoyed Legos, I guess. And wow,
Okay.
totally unscripted. David did not ask me that question or give me that ahead of time. But yeah, I knew it like right off the top of my head. I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I wanted to be a marine biologist, so I'm
Mm.
not anything like that, so it's okay, you know?
Uh, and in fact, I find them extremely similar. If you look at marine biology, it's a world that we don't understand, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
world that we don't understand on land is buried underground. But versus marine biology, you actually don't get a better the land encapsulates the history better than the water does because the water naturally degrades the biology. But yes, at the same time, there's paleontological efforts as well in marine biology.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is uncut, unfiltered, and authentic, so you might have some questions that you are not super ready for, and they're
Okay.
they're easy questions, so the other one that I typically try to ask people is, the best advice you've been given in your career. Anything come to mind that stands out to you as being some of the best advice?
Um, Best career advice. The best career advice for me. So this is going to be twofold. Okay. And there's other career advice that I'm not ready to share yet, which is a trade secret. So that, that, that'll be on episode 122, of course, right? Um, so the best advice for me personally that I have received that applies to me as an individual um, was a very short term mentor that I had who had cashed out early um, in the software world. And he said to me, Darryl, you've been selling the wrong thing. You need to sell airplane engines, is what he said to me. And then it clicked. I need to use my technical acumen. I need to get certified. I need to, I guess, prove to myself so that I can speak. And I guess to give everyone a little bit more background, I've been working in sales and at an enterprise level. You're talking with an engineer for $1 billion company. You have to at least know what's going on. You have to know what a wrench is, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So that was the best personal advice, and the best advice I would give others is uh, something that I don't follow, which is stay focused on something
Yeah.
and see it through and really drive to become the best at it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't give up.
Yeah.
That's all one thing, but yes.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so the other thing that I love to play with everybody is the world famous envelope icebreaker, which
Okay.
I told you beforehand. All you got to do is pick a number 1 through 15. So we're going to transition to that. So think about a number, and I'll give you a couple seconds, and then we can go through that. All right. What's your number, Darryl?
13.
13. Okay.
My oldest is 13.
Okay. All right, here we go. Number 13 for Darryl is, if your career had a mascot, what would it be?
A chameleon.
A chameleon. Love it.
A fast chameleon.
A fast chameleon. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Well, good. So as you were talking earlier, you wanted to be a paleontologist and an unknown world, just like me in marine biology, just the unknown and what's out there in the waters. We're going to dive into AI, and there's so much changing all the time, and it is a unknown world out there, really, and what we're going to be seeing. So when we had first talked, Darryl, this was kind of something that I felt like you had so much value to bring to the show. And, when it comes to using AI tools for job searches and interviews, a lot of people are in a point of they've been laid off. They haven't had to find a job or look for a job and recruit and be out there in the job market for years. So now they're like, okay, I haven't done this in a while. Now there's all these AI tools. They don't know where to begin. So let's dive into that a little bit. So when you think about this, can you give us a quick overview of the types of free AI tools available for job seekers today?
Yes. We are going to look at a tool called Notebook LM from Google. This is one of the simplest tools to get your hands on very, very quickly. And if I may, David, I kind of want to just hit on what you were just mentioning about the job market and the layoffs and more. And what I am looking to accomplish today and share with you and the audience is ways to reduce the mental load because it's real. There's a mental stress. If you've been laid off from work or you are waking up every morning and dropping off your kids and, you know, making your third cup of coffee and have already applied to 2 or 3 jobs, you know what I mean? It's real. people are doing this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so our what David and I have kind of talked about already is, how can we help, right? And these free tools like Notebook LM, this is a way to reduce the mental load on what it is that you're doing. It is a calculator so that you can do advanced math problems.
Absolutely. So for someone just starting their job search, how would you recommend they incorporate these AI tools into their process without really feeling very overwhelmed?
I would say understand the outcome that you want first of all. It's about the outcomes. Everything's about the outcomes, and it's about the materials that you're utilizing and your inputs. So focus on the outcome that you're looking for, and make sure that you're reading and you are doing the editing, right? And the inputs of information so that your outputs are favorable.
Hmm, okay,
Mhm.
good. So resume and cover letters, how can AI tools help that for candidates to improve their resume, cover letters, and are there common mistakes you're seeing that
Mm.
people are making when using AI for this?
So, and I think that this is going to be in some of that support material, but it's about that reduction of time that
Mm,
we've been talking about overall.
yeah.
It's reducing that mental load. Look,
Yep.
at, at the end of the day, AI is a tool to help you do things faster. Now, the cover letters and the resumes, what the output is supposed to be. Okay,
Right.
I'm applying for a job that includes X, Y, and Z. So I need my input to include X, Y, and Z so that I
Yep.
get the correct output.
Yep.
So you can utilize AI to help you achieve that X, Y, and Z output in a
Yeah.
resume or a
Yeah.
cover letter.
Okay. We are live on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you are watching live, thanks for joining us. If this is your first time watching Speakeasy HR, welcome. Thanks for spending part of your day with us the day after the Super Bowl. So, Darryl, if you want, I can pull up some of these slides that you wanted to go over as well. So let me transition to these and we can pull these up here and we can go into this. So, using free AI tools in job search for job search and interviews. So let's get into it. Um, so
Yeah.
I believe you can see the screen, right? Needle
Oh,
in a
yeah. Oh,
haystack.
yeah. Absolutely. And this is kind of hitting on where you had started earlier. I'm looking up at it at here. That's why I'm looking away. But yeah, I think that you know where we left off earlier was mental load, right?
Mm,
Where can AI help with cover letters and resumes and more? And what we essentially do with our AI tools is we find that needle in a haystack faster, right?
yep.
So th- think about this. That whole scenario that we were talking about earlier with that individual that's been laid off recently. They may, by their third cup of coffee, they may only be 1.5 applications in per cup of coffee, if that makes sense. So if you're timing it that way, that's only a few applications before noon and maybe two or three but by the end of the day, right? So if we're really looking at a 2 to 4 hour window for amassing the information like a 10K, researching the company on Glassdoor,
Yep.
or researching the individuals inside of the company and if they align with, I guess, either your values or your work ethic, etc., whatever that may be. That takes time. And what does AI do? Well, it cuts that in half.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, please, any questions on this slide or?
Um, no, I am good. So if anybody in the audience that is watching, you can put a question in the chat or a comment. So would love to engage with you as you're going through this with us. So next is the 15-minute fix. So here we go.
So earlier, David, you were asking about the cover letter, right?
Yep.
You were asking about the resume. What do we? What are some ways to utilize AI to either reduce the time or reduce the time or find ways to make it easier for you to get the output that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So I recommend anyone that might be following along with us today or that is curious to check out Notebook LM, notebooklm.google.com. Have you tried it yet, David?
I have not. So this will be something that I will go through and experience firsthand.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 So Notebook LM is really unique. It's a free tool by Google. They've been developing it and building it up over the past two years now, and it's really great for creators, for students, and more. And
Yeah.
guess what? Anyone that's looking to sort information, understand their information, and use that content for studying, right?
Hmm.
Maybe preparing a briefing for a marine biology exam. I could input my information there, or my paleontology exam, right? And it can create diagrams, it can create podcasts, and more. And what we've done here is we've taken those inputs that you were asking about, the cover letter and the resume. So you can see here on the right, we have a young lady named Amira Sandoval. And Amira is a college student that, if you can't see it on her resume here, but she's a college student that has 1 year out of, actually, she's a graduated college student that has 1 year out of college. She has a little bit of experience. And while she was in college, she helped out with the basketball team with their audio visual, right? And she sees this opening here for a podcast and guest coordinator on the the Speakeasy HR podcast, where it's uncut and
Yeah.
unfiltered, right? And so she sees this job opening here, and she's curious, how can I prepare myself for this job opening here? And I didn't know that I could change the slide. Sorry about that, Dave.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't change it, so I was like, "Uh-oh, somebody hacked
Okay.
in here." No, you're good.
No,
Do you want to go to the
I
next page?
no, I hacked in there. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So again, we're matching up Amira Sandoval, a
Yep.
student, an ex-student now, graduated student that's looking for roles. And there's a podcast guest coordinator. There's a podcast producer guest coordinator role open with Speakeasy HR Podcasts, and Amira's thinking, hey, how do I bridge my gaps here? So let's go to the next slide. So this is what Amira does. She goes into Notebook LM and she uploads the job description and her resume. That's it, right? And she asks the engine the question, hey, act as the hiring manager. Tell me exactly why you would not hire me for this role. What am I missing? And I don't know about you, David, but have you ever utilized AI and it just told you that you were the most beautiful person in the world?
No, not really.
Well, for some folks, what they really get from AI is they get responses that are. I think that if people watch the Super Bowl, I think that they get it.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting responses that are, sure, you want to build an airplane, no problem. Let's figure that out. Let's get started, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to be great for this $500,000 job. Let's fix your
Yeah.
resume. No, that's not how we approach it. What we want to do is utilize the AI as a tool. It's not alive. It's not our friend. We're utilizing it as a tool to cut through the data that is in our resume in the job description and understand what output it is that we want so that we can get the job.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All
Yeah.
right. Next
So
slide.
so we've got some examples as well. Do we have some time to go through some of those examples that Amira made for her to study for her interview with David Noe?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's check him out. Okay, cool. Make sure that we share the sound here. So can we see
add to the
can we
screen?
see screens? Okay, perfect. Now, this is an example of what Notebook LM looks like. Right here on the left, we've got Amir's resume, we've got the job description, and we even went on LinkedIn and we did a printout of David Noe's profile. So not only not only do we know about the job description inside of this box where we can ask questions, but we also know about the individual that we would interview with. And this is something that I highly recommend that people do as well, and that I've done in the past. You know, not only are you practicing or learning or asking questions about the job description, but the individual that you're interviewing with. You know, maybe there's a connection there in the data that can surface that shows you that, hey, my mom went to that school, or you know, my dad's buddy works at that company. That highlights more information for you. And I was saying earlier about Notebook LM, David. Notebook LM allows individuals to, again, study for that marine biology exam, study for that paleontology exam, the math exam, whatever. And it allows the individuals to create a video overview and an audio overview and a few other things as well. So, for instance, we could generate a slide deck, a quiz, reports, infographics. And again, this is all free. notebooklm.google.com. You can trust it. It's coming from Google. So, yeah. Any questions while we're on this page here?
I don't think so.
Any questions you want to ask it about about interviewing with David? Just kidding.
Yeah, throw it in there.
What is David's interview style? Authenticity and a practical depth, focusing on raw stories and unfiltered insights.
Sweet.
Values driven, interactive and focus, action oriented. Cool.
Sounds good.
So, well, great. And so it says, based on the descriptions of the podcast, Speakeasy HR, here are the elements of his approach. So the content is grounded within inside of this box that we're in, if that makes sense. So it's not going to look for content anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this really powerful. Now, we can ask a question about David's interview style, but let's say that we want to spend some time studying, and we want to, while we're driving, we want to have a little brief that we can listen to. Well, we can make a podcast up to about 35 minutes, I think is the max. This is just a brief sample, but in this, you can hear that it recognizes who the content and understands the goals and more. So I'm going to play this really quickly, and let me know if you can't hear it, okay?
Okay.
This is the brief on decoding David Noe and figuring out the strategy to land that podcast producer role for his show, Speakeasy HR. So here's the deal. David Noe hosts a live broadcast on LinkedIn and YouTube, and he's on the hunt for a technical pilot. He needs someone to handle the pressure of the hot seat so he can focus on what he does best, having completely unfiltered conversations. First, you got to understand the man behind the mic. David's an HR manager and a business owner, and he's really driven by three things: faith, family, and leadership.
So that's just an example that you can listen to in the car, while you're working out, before your interview, right? or before your marine biology test. It's just an example there. Can you see how that could be helpful?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're looking at the media now, and we'll go back and we'll ask questions about the resume as well. But let's look at this video really quickly, also because this also follows along with the audio and preparing the individual for understanding and absorbing the content and recollecting it in a visual manner.
Hey, Amira, so glad you reached out. You mentioned you're looking at this podcast producer role, and you think you'd be a great fit, but you just need a little help building that confidence. Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to connect all the dots on your resume and build that perfect bridge to get you to your dream job. Okay, so let's just dive right in. On paper, I get it. These two jobs can feel like they're on totally different planets, right? Logistics coordinator, that's truck routes. Podcast producer, that's a live show. It's really easy to look at this and feel like there's a huge gap, but that's only if we're looking at the job titles. So here's the secret.
So that's just an example. You can build a video as well to help you prepare. Now, let's get into just one or two questions about the resume, right? This individual, they've never been a podcast producer before. They're presently in logistics. How do they transition, right? So we can ask that question again. Pretend you're the hiring manager. Let's say that we've already done that. And let's say that we've already done that right there, and it acknowledges that we would be a good fit. The next step would be to ask, how can I prepare a cover letter, or maybe include some content as well, some input, so that we can draft a cover letter. Okay. So, yeah, so we could do that. So, for example, our input. So for our input for a cover letter, we could say, I know I have worked in logistics as a coordinator. And I'm going to butcher some words here. Oh, and I know that I've worked in logistics as a coordinator. What skills do I have that transfer over to the other role? Okay. And again, we're just working inside of this box. And this is and the typos were an example of how well the AI understands what you're saying.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So he's looking for a pilot to handle. All right, your transferable skills. Okay. How to phrase it? Real-time crisis management. And in the in the real world, you would actually put in your draft here of your cover letter and have it highlight for you those differences that you need to make. And your output could be the output that you're looking for the right response, if that makes sense.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's fascinating. I'm gonna have to play around with this. That is awesome. Let's see here.
I went to, sorry, cut the screen there. Got a big head of Darryl.
I'm trying to bring myself back in here. Hold on.
Oh no, you're good.
Let's see here. Select.
Well, just going from there. Well, David jumps back in. If there's anyone that's live, I see that there's a chat as well. Would love to get any questions or.
I got. I think it's Lena. All we have is wow. So somebody is wowed. Love it.
Okay. Cool.
Well, good. Well, let's take a quick break for just a few sponsor messages from payroll partners. So if you want to grab something to drink, we're going to dive into more questions with Darryl here. So we'll catch you in about 1 minute.
Finding a new employee takes time and money. For one position on a single job board, you could easily spend a minimum of $5 to $10 a day advertising a job post. It's worth noting that the average time it takes to hire a new employee is 36 days. However, it can take longer than that. You could find yourself paying hundreds of dollars a month for a single job board. And if you're using multiple job boards for multiple positions, this could add up to thousands of dollars a month. There is a much simpler and more affordable way of finding the right candidate. At Payroll Partners, we offer an applicant tracking system to help manage your hiring process. Our ATS is customizable, allowing you to decide which days you want to run the job and when to close it so you don't break the bank. And this feature lets you e-blast your network, posting jobs on multiple boards at once, all managed in one location. Payroll Partners, elevating your payroll and HR experience.
So if you are in the market for new technology, your business is growing, you're frustrated with what you have, poor service, poor technology that's not customized, we can work with a large variety of businesses, industries, personalities. So look us up, look me up on LinkedIn, payrollpartners.net. Would love to hear about your situation. So, all right. So diving back into this topic, Darryl, because we were showing some slides, and obviously people watching on the video, audio can see, what we had up. So we looked at, trying to create that bridge from one job to the next for applicants. So let's say they get those interviews scheduled, they hear from the company that they're interested in, and now it's about trying to effectively use AI to prepare for that interview. And I talk to people all the time. I interview people on a weekly basis. Do they use AI? I don't know. It's very questionable because sometimes they don't have very good questions to ask me, and it's kind of alarming. It's kind of shocking,
Mhm.
especially people with HR in their background, and they know what interview processes look like. And when I say, "Do you have any questions?" and they're like, "No, you did great. You answered all my questions." Come on, you don't have any questions. So, what? How can AI help with this practice in responding to tough questions, but also have good questions to ask?
So that's a good question. That's a good segue, right? I what's really funny, and I hope you're not going to laugh, but it'll make the guests laugh. But you're too boring in the interview, David. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
You- you-
I have thick skin. I'll take it, Darryl. It's okay.
um, just kidding. Look, number one, whenever this is going to sound weird because I'm going to tell you to talk to a robot, but you talk to the robot like a human because you're practicing being human, right? You're going to go in front of another human and sit. It's the wall, okay? It just happens to speak also and give you feedback.
Right.
There are some free tools there that we can go into as well. And I might be able to demo this live if you're interested in seeing how that would work as well.
Yeah. One question that
Um,
came, is there a limit as to how many times you can use this?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And especially on the free tier. But you probably won't even notice because it's Google is it's they're doing a really good job at making this accessible to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And making it easy to utilize.
Good. Okay. So yeah, if you have a demo on some of the questions, obviously we can jump through some of those as well. I've got a couple more questions, and
Please.
obviously, people watching might have questions. So yeah, if you want to pull it up, I can share the screen if you have one.
Let's while I'm pulling it up, I can field another question.
So to me, authenticity is very important, as it's
Mhm.
part of my show. and personalization. The more I talk to people about interviewing and onboarding at an employer, the organization, right, for onboarding, it's got to be personalization. It's got to be personalized to that person and authentic. So a lot of advice warns against sounding those robots when using AI. So how can candidates maintain their authenticity while leveraging the AI support?
It's very easy. Read it, proof it, and make sure that you're the one. Sorry, my mom's calling me.
Oh, that's great. That's some
uh,
good music.
uh, again, read it,
Yeah.
proof it, and you're in charge. And it's your inputs that create the output.
Yep.
That is the key. And that's what people need to recognize when utilizing these tools. If you punch a wrong number into the calculator, the equation on the other side is going to be unauthentic.
Yeah. I think you asked me to share the screen and then I didn't share it. So
all good.
You got to do it. If you can ask again, maybe I can pull it up here.
Let's
try it again.
I think that oh yeah, I'm up. I see it.
You're up?
Yeah.
Okay. I just need to share. Let's see. Is there a button to ask to share it?
I'm sorry. I've got David doing gymnastics over here, sharing screens a lot. So
there's a one-man show here. There we go.
Hey, this was real. I was thinking about you. That's why I made this this job description idea. I was like, David needs this job.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your question, your earlier question. Okay, your question was, how does one, I guess, for example, practice for the job interview? Right?
Yep.
Okay, got it. So there's multiple ways to achieve that inside of Notebook LM. I would first start to, okay, so I guess it depends on the job. Now, this individual, this fictional person, Amira Sandoval, she could, for example, we've already created a video overview. We had a custom question that we asked. We basically said, help us understand the job and how we relate, etc. We've done the audio overview, but we also have reports, quizzes, flashcards, infographics. Some of these don't make sense for what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But for example's sake, let's do a quiz, okay? And see how long it takes. Let's do fewer. Let's make the questions really hard. And let's make the quiz about what I need to know in the interview with David. Okay. Boom. All right. So now that's generating, and we see this generating quiz based on 3 sources. And we'll remember, we have 3 sources as our input. We've got the young lady's resume, the fictional lady's resume. We have the job description, and then we've got David's profile printed out from LinkedIn. Okay. Now, those are our 3 inputs. Now we've got the quiz going. Cool. Now oh, wow, that was fast. Now, there's, again, multiple ways to practice for an interview here. And I guess the way that I would personally prefer it would be the audio overviews and uploading your own your CV and the job description. I think that that's a gorgeous combination. Listening to 30 minutes of something talk positively about you for the job. It's exactly what you need to hear before you go into the job. Now, we'll play some more examples of what that sounds like. But first, how about we open up this quiz?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. All right. In the context of David's leadership philosophy, which 3 blah, 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 pillars: communication, mentorship, and building professional relationships. Okay. So, which it would be this one, right? Faith, family, and leadership development. Okay, cool. So, and again, the content is generated from the sources that we have. So, as the pilot of Speak Easy HR podcast, what is the primary objective of managing the Restream studio environment during a live show? It's got 4 different options here, again, below for everyone listening. I can't read all of these while talking. So, it was A again. Okay, good. So, you can kind of see here, that's one way of doing it. Now, for all of our listeners, this one will be a treat because you'll get to hear the AI audio come through. So, this is going to be a dual example. What we'll be doing is listening to a podcast, right, of this individual. This individual, her name again is Amira, and she's applying to this podcast producer role. And this session that we are going to listen to is between 2 robots talking to each other. Okay. And we're going to jump in and we're going to break the 4th wall on them. So let's do this. Okay. And again, different ways to practice. Here we go.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're focusing entirely on one listener, Amira Sandogal.
Yeah, we have her resume right here, job description she's looking at, and, a really honest note from her.
It's very direct. She basically says, "Hi, my name is Amira, and I think I might be a good fit for this role, but I need help. I need help seeing it for myself to build my confidence."
And Amira, looking at all this isn't a fake it till you make it situation at all. It's a classic framing problem.
A framing problem.
You see your job at Fast Track Logistics and you think tux. But if we really look at this producer role at Speakeasy HR, the hiring manager, David Nohow, well, he's asking for skills you are already using every single day.
So you're not just qualified.
You're practically the blueprint for what he wants.
Okay, so let's start with the technical side. That's usually where the anxiety kicks in, right? The job description literally calls for a pilot.
Right. David No wants someone to fly the plane so he can just focus on the conversation. He needs live broadcast management.
And this is where her resume gets really interesting.
It does, Amira. This is where your time at WMUL FM 88.1 is like your ace in the hole. You weren't just, oh, hey there, how can we help?
Hey, it's me, Amira. And I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys helping me. There's another twist in my resume. I also worked as a coordinator at a restaurant as well. How would that help? Oh, I got a technical difficulty. Okay, bummer. Of course, it wasn't gonna work.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today,
Let's see if it works again.
our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Hey guys, it's me, Amira. I worked as a coordinator in a restaurant as well. Yeah, I think that the audios aren't synced up. That might be the case.
Oh.
Or how about this now? No, it's okay. Well, that's what we get for trying
Welcome
to
back
do
to
a
the deep
live,
dive. Today,
It's okay. It's okay.
demonstration, but that's how it works, guys. And you can actually conversate with your resume, the job description, and the intelligence at the same time, and train yourself, practice being a human, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. It's a wild philosophy to think about when it comes to looking for jobs, and I'm very traditional when it comes to looking for jobs. If I was in the job market, I'd be out meeting people in person, and that's important too, right? Like you can't just apply to jobs and think you're going to get a job. So what we're going through today, I think, is very, very important to know at least the baseline knowledge of and understand what's out there to save you time, to save you effort in doing some of this stuff. So let's talk about that when it comes to time management and being efficient. So
Yeah.
I see this being very helpful in being efficient. So are there any other tools or resources that you think job seekers right now can be looking at to really not cut corners on like relationship building or networking?
You know, to be quite honest with you, look, I've tried to get away from it. I've tried my best, but LinkedIn is it is it is it's the watering hole, man. You
Yeah.
know, it really is. And it's uh if you're applying to a job and if you're not connected with anyone at the job on LinkedIn, are you giving it 50%? Are you giving it 60%? If you're not doing that, you can pretty much give up,
Right.
on or look somewhere else
Yeah.
because you need to make the connection. They need to know that you exist. Almost every interview that I've got, despite my favorability towards LinkedIn and their algorithm, I still got my connections through LinkedIn on
Right.
very many of them. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. And as a
Well,
sales leader as well,
oh,
LinkedIn is my Rolodex. It's my Rolodex of my Rolodex.
yep. And you mentioned when I was asking about the career advice, you
Mm.
mentioned having a mentor,
Mhm.
and I I I think people like that in your situation play such a huge role
Yeah.
in finding a job in their network. So we're going back to the basics. I know this is beyond AI, but like just LinkedIn in general and having a professional picture, a profile that fits what you're doing, what
Mhm.
you've done, accomplishments, volunteer work you do in the community, in your church. Like there's so many things that
Yes.
people don't list or don't have on that. Maybe not on their resume or on their LinkedIn profile. So yeah, resumes are they're important to use when you're searching for a job and applying for jobs, but I would say if anything, go into your LinkedIn profile and see where you're missing the mark and what you should be updating, asking people for recommendations. You can put, someone asked me, it was I don't know, 6 months ago, and I worked with him, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind putting a recommendation in for me or endorsement in LinkedIn?" That's still a thing. So a lot of tools on LinkedIn, free. So
Yeah. And you're making me feel guilty. I was just thinking, it's like, oh, I don't have that. Oh, I don't have that either.
it's okay.
Oh, I'm not giving it 100%. So yeah. But
Hey,
uh,
okay.
but yeah.
It's all right. So success stories. So can you
Mm.
share an example of a job seeker who used AI tools effectively and what they did differently?
I've been a part of a lot of different networks, and not to tell anyone's personal stories, but you know, just to kind of like let's look at Amira's example, okay, from a high level here. Individual, and this goes for everybody. In fact, I just got off the phone with someone that's a septuagenarian, right? So we were talking about his pivot in the AI market, and I said to him, "Remember, his name's David. Also, I said, remember, David, you have more experience than everyone applying. You know what I mean? It's the there's little gaps here and there, but at the end of the day, you have the experience, and he's not giving up. You know what I mean? And it's about utilizing those inputs that you give to get the outputs that you want and that you're looking for, and asking questions, right? AI gives you the power to become a master investigator. Become a master investigator of yourself. Okay. Um, there's a takeaway that I'd like to give everyone as an assignment, actually.
Okay. What is it?
I would like everyone to, if you're in the job market, okay, or if you're just curious about finding out more about yourself and more, and how you can apply your own learned knowledge towards a job or an objective. I challenge everyone to either go into Microsoft Word, or here's a secret, on your computer, if it's Windows H. If you hit Windows H, it'll open up a dictation box, and then you can start talking to the computer. So I encourage everyone to find a way to talk to the computer or your phone. This might be even better because everyone knows how to do it on their phone. Open up your iPhone, go to notes, and start talking. Talk about what you've done in the past. Talk about your successes. Talk about your kids, whatever. Talk about anything that you feel comfortable sharing inside of a closed box with Google, apparently. But you have to protect yourself, right? But at the end of the day, get all of that text down and put it inside of Notebook LM, and then put that job description in your resume in there, and say, what am I missing based on this diatribe that I just gave you of me talking for 5 minutes long about all of these successes? What am I missing from my own personal sight? Because it's our sight, it's our vision, and people need to understand that they have a tunnel vision, and the illusion is that you don't have tunnel vision. That's
Yep.
the illusion. Find out more about yourself, and ask better questions.
Yep.
And take on that assignment. Get your I like to say it's not word vomit, but it kind of is. You need to get it out. Take that amass of success and that information that you have deep down in your brain that
Yep.
you need 3 minutes of talking to even get out, right? Take all of that and put it in this tool that we just used for Amira Sandoval's resume. Take it, put it in there, put your own resume in there
Yep.
with all that information, and see what you're missing. So
Yeah.
that's the assignment.
Absolutely. That's great. I really appreciate your time, Darryl. This has been so fascinating and stuff that I have not really taken enough time to learn. So last question before we get off here. So future trends, looking ahead, it's 2026. The next few years are going to be very interesting on the job market as companies are reshaping themselves, eliminating jobs, and just massive layoffs. So how do you see AI really changing the job search and interview process over the next few years? And how can candidates really be prepared for now outside of the tools that you've been talking about? Anything else come to mind?
That's a tough one, David. So start now, because it's not AI that's taking people's jobs. It's people that know how to use AI taking people's jobs.
Yep.
So I'll leave it there. My youngest is 7. My oldest is 13. My oldest is vibe coding a video game. So my 7-year-old can I love it. He's bored now with AI. He's like, who wants to catch 150 Pokemon? I don't want to play with. I'm like, great. Like, let's go play outside. So I'm trying everything here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do have listeners out there with teenagers, any advice that they would want to give their teenagers when it comes to different industries to consider focusing, getting an interest in, being a marine
Wow.
biologist? I don't know.
Wow.
What are you? I mean, your kids seem to know what they enjoy.
Okay. I hope
Right?
that you have more time, because I've
We do.
actually put together. Okay. So I have a concept that I'm building for my sons. And I'd love to share some books with you as well. But I have a concept of 10 stones. Okay. And each stone is something that they won't have to figure, that their dad has mapped out for them. And I thought, what's the best way to become successful as an individual? And I've philosophized, I've thought about this for for decades, right? Of my life. And um nepotism is the best way, is what I've come to understand. To you can only be as great as King Solomon is if King David was your father. So it's hard to come to that level of wisdom and that level of understanding of the world and to experience so many different things. So what can I give my sons? Well, I can do research and I can understand, I can live my life and then give them a blueprint. So based on what I've lived, the life that I've lived thus far, I can share some of the stones with you. Some are, one is actually marine biology. There's a plant. One of the stones is understanding alternate sources of proteins. And I want my oldest son, Nigel, to understand duckweed of all things, something that actually doubles in size in 24 hours. I mean, and it has more protein per gram than steak. So, I mean, when you break this down, I mean, it's going to be vital for our future production if humans keep doing what they're doing, right? And that's one of the stones, is getting him into a corner of biology that makes sense profitably down the road. And another stone is robotics. So that they understand servos, yes, servos and pneumatics, and gears and more. And we've done that through playing with Legos. So you can see, so we do a lot of that, and we do a lot of AI, related stuff. And this past summer, and until I really started looking at how much I was going to have to spend, I was going to buy a Jetson Nano from NVIDIA, and we are going to build an arm that can see. And so, but you know what we did instead of spending the money is we coded up a virtual one instead and built it ourselves, and that was free, utilizing Google's tools as well. So yeah, that's just an example of what I'm thinking about for my two boys.
Yeah.
And how they get ahead in the future. So yes.
Any books that you suggest? Because you said you had some books. I always like to hear what people think of good reads.
I read nonfiction, so it's typically really depressing. So I like to understand. Well, you know what? I guess it's not depressing all the time, because my favorite thing to read about is behavioral economics, actually.
Okay.
There's a recent book. My most favorite book of the past quarter, I guess, has been The Winner's Curse by Richard Thaler, Nobel Peace Prize winning behavioral economist. My mom for Christmas got me The Anxious Generation. So I have the audiobook to that, and we've been listening to it in the car as a family. And so I don't even have my phone right. Oh yeah, I do. So my son will be like, he'll always pull one of these once we're listening to the audiobook in the car. I'm just like, yeah, it's, so understanding the nonfiction, for me, I like to implement it in my daily life. Behavioral economics. I'm in sales. I need to understand how the leaders of billion-dollar companies are making decisions. So understanding the irrationality of how people make decisions is something that I like to study. And as well, on the other side, self-improvement. I stopped reading self-help books. Gosh. But my mother, I guess, she actually sparked my interest in reading very young. So
good.
So yeah.
Well, you better call her back, because
That's
tried to
right.
call you, you know.
Yeah, she
Um,
did.
well, Darryl, this has been a treat. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing more about your knowledge and insights into these tools that are out there, and I'm sure they're going to change the next time we talk. So hopefully that'll be soon. But if you're not following Darryl on LinkedIn, would definitely check him out with Digital Workforce Consulting. So look him up, see what he does, and see if he can help you or your organization in some tasks you're trying to accomplish. So, Darryl, really appreciate your time today. I wish you all the best. Let's stay connected and appreciate your unfiltered, uncut conversation we had today. This has been great.
Hey, you got me. Thanks, David.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back next Monday and all about leadership. So, focusing on the big leadership topic. Thanks, everybody.